Welcome to Was It Good, the podcast that talks about whatever we feel like. I'm Ravi, joined by a group of amazing individuals. Please introduce yourselves, starting with the bald one.
I'm Krishna.
Let's go with the eccentric one.
I'm Michael.
And we will go with the bearded dragon.
I'm also Arjuna.
And guys,
We are Was It Good?
Was It Good?
Yep, there we go. That still is a thing we do. Before we kick off, Krishna wants to know about Lehrman's background. If you are watching this, or if you're listening to this, you can actually watch the full podcast on youtube.com/wasitgood. We do record these for video, but our good friend Michael here has an interesting background. And Krishna, what's your question? And then Michael, let's give him the truth or a lie.
Ooh, yeah, I like this. Michael, for those listening, Michael is sitting in front of a very decrepit-looking living situation.
Or is it my home? And
Yes. And that is the question I have, because Michael is an artiste in selecting his backgrounds recently. He chose New York, a.k.a. Hollywood, for one. During D&D, he had a nice fantasy background, and now it looks like a beat-up home. So I want to know if that's a background or his where he lives.
I love, Krishna, that you have seen me change my background, but when it comes to this background, it's like, is that where you live? For
Correct.
real?
Yes. I had to pause.
Yeah, I move my couch every time we do a session to make sure my background is cool. I live in a fantasy world, if you were to tilt this way. No, this is a visual representation of my actual apartment as a background, exaggerated slightly for dramatic effect.
Wait, so did you take like a picture of your apartment running through like AI or something, and then?
No, I simply searched for crack den on Google.
Oh my god!
Oh boy.
We got a train spotting situation over here.
I tried heroin first, and it was actually harder to find.
Obviously, it's been a couple weeks since we did a pod last. What have you guys been up to? Juna, kick us off. What have you been doing?
What have I been up to? Well, Los Angeles has been in an interesting spot in terms of just everything going on in the city, in the country. But we don't want to really talk about that because it's sad.
Why not?
It's a sad side.
Well, I mean, to Christian's point, I mean, we can talk about. Again, I said we should talk about what the fuck we want. So
That's true.
Yeah, if we
I
want to
believe
talk about
two
it,
of you are like right in there.
Oh yeah, it's great. I live among the war.
Well, you were texting us because Michael, I think you've done what most of us should do, which is kind of filter the news or limit the amount of news that you're intaking. I think I've gone the opposite. I'm way too deep. I could tell you about things happening in this world that would blow your mind.
Crazy.
But Michael, you were texting us like, yeah, what's like the noise situation been like? What's the vibe, as the kids say?
Well, it's strange because I don't see a lot, but last night I definitely heard a gunfight somewhere. There was like a lots of sirens, there was like this like beep, 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 and I was pretty sure it was a car alarm, and then I heard a but that was just a firework, I think. Anyway, it's been crazy.
Getting the July 4th celebration early.
Looking out, I just see the middle school in front of my house.
It turns out it's actually like a neighbor who's just really into action movies.
Yeah, he's just a Gerard Butler fan.
Living in downtown, you always hear an explosion, and you always have to question if it's a real explosion or like a movie set explosion, because
yeah,
you just don't.
I usually think they're fireworks, although I realized last night that I have unfortunately gotten really good at discerning the difference between gunshots and fireworks. So I can tell the bigger explosions usually are fireworks, because you think you would hear about a bomb going off, but
you would hope so.
You would hope so.
Yeah.
Sorry, Arjuna. Yeah, so
Oh no, you're good.
supplemental to your ongoings.
But yeah, we've been looking to potentially move in a little bit, and so we're just figuring that process out in terms of what we want to do, renting versus buying, immersing ourselves in that world. It's quite
Sounds like an
technical.
OnlyFans is about to start.
OnlyFans Mortgage Edition.
Ooh. Yeah, OnlyFans for like just
Oh.
house hunting and taxes.
Do
Just
you
showing
want some
raw
Mortgage
house
Insider while I wear nothing?
You just use your. I mean, just make it like feet content and using your feet to swipe through Zillow listings.
Come
I'm
on.
sure there's some fucking weirdos that would pay for that.
It's just
Hobbit
I
feet.
will say, without going too deep into like how mortgages and everything work, I do think it is quite fascinating the amount that you kind of just have to learn on your own about the whole process when it comes to buying. Like they really don't teach you any of this in any phase of life. They're just kind of like, well, you can figure this out, and you have to be careful because there's just a lot of people that will try and take advantage of you in terms of just what you're trying to do and trying to kind of help their own businesses and their own side. So I would say if you are in the process of looking to buy a home or thinking about it, educate yourselves. Do as much research as possible. Talk to people you trust who have done the process before, and do that stuff. It's important because if you just kind of jump in and you're like, yep, I'm going to buy a house in the next week, it will probably go poorly in terms of just being ripped off.
It does
Or
seem,
you
it
could
does
just-
seem
Wow.
like a,
Or you could just have rich parents, So Arjuna,
That's
really,
also
that's a
true.
fault on you.
yeah.
Actually,
Choose
it's
better.
your guys' fault. You guys made our parents poor before I came along.
He has a point. He's the youngest.
I really wanted that TV.
You guys
Which
should
one?
have.
What was it? It was Krishna going to college, and
Oh, we
Mom
got
was
the
all
flat screen.
sad and vulnerable, and I was like, "Hi, Mom. You know what would make everybody happier?
A
A
new
flat screen
TV.
TV.
I'll never forget coming
You're
home.
not wrong.
Yeah, I never forget coming home from college the first time, and there's like a new, was it like 65 inch?
No, it was a 42
back
inch.
then, there was
42
like a
inches.
40.
It was
Oh,
42.
okay.
I remember
Yeah,
it
it
was a
was
42
felt
inch
like 65.
flat screen Zenith TV.
Zenith.
Was that
They're
the
still
silver
around.
one? The silver.
It was silver. It was a silver flat
Zenith
screen.
went
Like
out of
this-
business a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I was literally.
They were
gonna
one
go-
of the few American-made TVs, I believe, for a
I
time.
mean, that TV only lasted, I think, under 2 years, and then like the backlight or something blew out on it.
No, we had it for a
American
while. The problem with that TV was the pixels really had a lot of pixel issues, especially after the ice storm in 08 because the house got
Ah, yes, the ice storm of 08.
Ice Storm of 08.
Well, it makes
I remember
sense because it was
I remember that.
because it wasn't LED or
No, this
It
was,
was-
this was
Would've been
2005.
Yeah,
it was
so it was like
LCD.
liquid.
Probably
in there.
LCD projection, maybe.
yeah,
even.
something like that.
So,
That was my first big screen.
but then they moved that TV to the basement after a while.
The
They sure
basement.
did.
Krishna, how's
Well-
your time been? That's a weird way of
How was
putting
your
it.
time?
Well, I don't know how widely known it is. I work in sports media at the moment.
What the fuck?
Holy
everybody,
shit,
that's-
oh, I thought
So,
everybody knew.
But so I've been immersed in the NBA Finals world, which has been actually probably the best finals in like 10 years. We're going to a game 7, and so they're late games, right? So I have to watch the game, then they do the pod right after the game, and then I have to cut things from the pod. So it's like 2 hours after every game ends. So I go to bed at like 1 to 2 a.m. like having to cut like this stuff. But one more game to go, game 7 tomorrow. So I've been in that world. And then somebody mentioned Gerard Butler earlier. For whatever reason, last night, I decided to watch all 3 of the original How to Train Your Dragon movies. For no
The first
good
one is
reason.
great.
For no good, yeah, it really rich. Honestly,
Yeah.
all three are pretty good,
It's a
but
good
the first
trilogy.
one's like truly special. And I did it just because like I wanted to like see what the animation was like, and I watched all three of them.
Back to back,
Uh,
like no breaks. Like you didn't even
yeah.
poop.
Well,
Where
I
do
mean,
you
I
watch?
took bathroom breaks.
Where,
but
Where can you see all three of those, by the way?
Peacock. Peacock has all three.
I'm sorry, this
Okay.
is starting to sound like an ad for Peacock.
Hold on,
Peacock
Rabbit.
is
Real
amazing.
quick, I just want to tell you about the benefits of Peacock right now. You can go to Peacock to see Love Island USA. You can stream all 3 How to Train Your Dragon movies.
You can
And
also
watch
watch-
Sunday
amazing,
Night
Arjuna.
Football.
You can also watch
I
live
also-
English Premier League games.
I also have Peacock and love it.
I also use Lauren's Peacock as well.
Okay, now we're getting into places I've never been.
Question though, so you're watching
yeah.
these 3 movies back to back. Are you consuming any snacks or food?
I ate dinner during the first one.
Are you doing like your weird dinners or like proper human dinners?
Dinner last night was Chick-fil-A. So where does that rank? Where does that?
That's a normal dinner.
What was the
proper
order?
dinner?
What was the Chick-fil-A order?
Wait, no, everybody. No, don't say. Everyone, make a guess. I'll go first. I'm gonna go with
I don't actually
regular,
know what they have.
like American style, the one with the cheese, not like the spicy. So like the regular deluxe chicken sandwich. You did a 12-piece nugget and waffle fries, and you did a shake.
Oh, interesting. Juna, what's your guess?
Yeah, I don't eat chicken, so I'm not familiar with the types of sandwiches they have. So I'm gonna guess some type of sandwich, some type of chicken nuggets. I'm gonna say you skipped the waffle fries because there's too many carbs. And I noticed recently you don't do fries as much anymore, and you did a shake.
Larabin?
Because it was a Friday. It feels like you would do a shake on Friday. Just treat yourself.
I think you definitely went with 2 chicken sandwiches, a 6-piece
those
nugget, and a chocolate shake.
With
Amazing.
whipped cream.
You were all wrong. You all had shades of being correct, but you're all fundamentally wrong. I got the
And together we are correct.
yeah. If you put them all together and then eliminate 3/4 of it, you're right. No, I got a spicy deluxe chicken sandwich, waffle fries, and chocolate shake. So no nuggets.
No nuggets.
No
Wow.
nuggets. That's
I had-
surprising.
I wasn't that hungry, and I had Chipotle for lunch. So you know,
Wow. Okay.
I,
double fast food day.
yeah. I was off yesterday and just tired from NBA Finals. So I was like, do you remember Parks and Rec? Treat yourself. It was one of those days.
yeah.
So How to Train Your
Good.
Dragon and Chick-fil-A. And yeah, so
I've been recently ranking foods. Well, not recently, over the last few years. And I've been ranking like fast food shakes over the years, and I would say the Chick-fil-A shake's pretty high up there for me.
yeah, yes, it is.
It's definitely
I haven't
really
had
good.
it.
It's not for everybody though. It's very, very creamy.
Is
very
it runny?
No,
No,
thick.
like it's just like it's thick.
I don't
and
like
then, like,
thin
you don't
shakes.
like cream.
I gotta have like a. I gotta really try to get that.
You will
out
love
of there.
the Chick-fil-A shake then.
But if you don't
Frosty
like like
from
if you don't like
Wendy's
the
is
like
kind
flavor
of, the perfect shake.
of cream, Frosties are great. I love a Frosty. Shake Shack also, I really like their shakes
Shake
as
Shack
well.
sucks though. Like their burgers are salty, their chicken is dry. Yeah, no, fuck.
Well, I don't
Shake
eat burgers
Shack's
or
biggest
chicken.
problem is they're way overpriced for what you get. Like a burger from there would be good if it was like $2.
I really like what I like about Shake Shack as a pescatarian is they have a veggie burger, but they also have a stuffed portobello mushroom. So it's like a portobello mushroom that's lightly fried and then has cheese inside of it.
I've actually had that one, and it's the best Shake Shack sandwich.
Yeah,
It's
it's
better than any
ridiculous.
of the chicken, and I don't eat it, obviously.
Christian, I do
Sounds
have
like
a
you do
question
eat.
for you. Back to your How to Train Your Dragon marathon. Were you inspired because of Gerard Butler being around everywhere doing promotion for the live action movie, or like, do you now want to see the live action remake? I have seen the live action remake of the movie.
Oh, interesting. No, I did it. I did it mostly for 2 reasons. Gerard Butler, of course, because him in a kid or family movie playing a Viking, what a perfect role. And 2, the animation. And so that was the 2 big reasons, really.
Why the animation, though? I'm curious. You did mention that earlier, and it kind of stuck out to me. Like, what was it that prompted you to be like, I wonder about the animation in How to Train My Dragon trilogy?
Yeah, I was like looking up movies with good animation, and it wasn't top of the list. I've seen most of those movies, and so yeah, I just wanted to see like good animation. Just I haven't actually watched. I think I mentioned it last pod. I haven't watched like a movie or a TV show in a while, and I was like, I feel like getting lost in a world made up totally on a computer by artists.
Was the last new movie you saw Sinners?
I haven't seen Sinners.
Oh, you haven't seen Sinners?
I haven't seen it either.
I haven't either.
I'm waiting for streaming.
Yeah.
Wow! It's streaming on July 4th. That's when
I
it's
still
going to
haven't
be streaming.
seen Thunderbolts either.
I haven't. Yeah,
I
me
like
neither. I haven't
Thunderbolts.
been
I like
to it. I haven't
Thunderbolts.
been to
I think
a
we're all in the
theater
same
in a couple
boat.
of years.
Yeah, I haven't been to the movies.
I went to the movies on Thursday.
Yeah, you go
Well,
15
you're a-
times a week
Yeah,
somehow.
Rude.
Junior, you're the exception. You're still, for some reason.
I love going to the
You-
movies.
You
Going
love
to the
you've
giving
been
movies is great.
AMC your money.
Yeah.
And sitting amongst a bunch
$25
of noisy
It's $25 a
strangers.
month, and I get to see 4 movies a week. I can see
Wait,
16
stop
movies.
advertising for these companies.
I know.
Yeah.
Ravi, that's a
Also,
great point.
corporate
I just
shit.
want to take a moment to talk about the benefits of AMC A-List, exclusively
Oh my
only
God.
available at
Please
AMC
tell us about
theaters.
how your
Hey,
couple
can
of
you-
been.
Well, first of all, can you enlighten the viewers about the actual theater experience? It's not the AMC that I have a problem with. It's when I get to the theater and there's people there. There's other people and they talk, and then they also use their phone. And that's
I
the
just
part
lock
that
in. I
sucks.
just lock in my focus.
Oh,
I
lucky
ignore
you.
the noise.
I have ADHD. That's impossible for me.
That's
tough.
your issue.
No, what have I've been locked in to this project I mentioned last time. It's still ongoing because it's super complicated, and ChatGPT is very indecisive about what is and isn't physically possible. So I have yet to be able to procure all the pieces because they keep changing. But I'm getting closer, and the more frustrated I get, the more I just decide to do it one way, and we'll see if that way works. But who knows? But yeah, that's been most of it, and then yeah, I kind of the opposite of Krishna. Haven't really been eating for a bit. I got laid off on Friday, so that was interesting. Yeah, so I've reaccommodated myself from my New York apartment and moved to something a little more financially viable. So
Yes. Damn, man, that's crazy. Layoffs, man. That's the worst.
It's nuts. The HR lady was kind, though. Like,
Ooh.
surprisingly so, because this was a scary lady that I got into lots of fights with before. But she was very kind, and it was coming. The company's dying. They just couldn't afford to keep me on, they said. And they're the type that would definitely let me know if I did something wrong. So,
Yeah.
all good. All good.
How long were you at that place? It feels like forever, but
It did feel like forever. I absolutely hated it. So in a way, it's kind of a blessing.
Yeah.
2 years, I think, just a little over 2 years.
Wow. Those 2 years like flew by. Honestly, that's crazy.
For you.
But real quick on the project that you're. Oh yeah, no, good point. On the project that you're doing, can we say here on air for the first time that Was It Good will have exclusive access to the V1 prototype reveal?
I already promised Walt Mossberg that, but
Who's that?
I don't know actually. I don't think he still does this stuff for the Wall Street Journal. I think that's a new lady now. But anyway, yeah, he used to cover Apple and stuff for Wall Street Journal.
They used to do like big
Oh.
reveals and stuff through him because of like the name recognition and such.
Sort of the
Yeah.
Roger Ebert of tech.
Who's Roger Ebert?
Oh
The-
God,
Film
movie
critic, the
review
most
critic?
famous film critic.
Siskel and Ebert. Chicago.
Oh, when it comes
Sun.
to film critics and people that talk and review about movies, I don't listen to them.
Which
They're
is
full of
highly
shit.
ironic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
full of themselves.
What was that? What's that saying that critics are just failed artists in their field, like they're not good enough they weren't good enough, or they thought they weren't good enough to succeed, in their chosen field of interest, so they became a critic, which is really sad, to be honest.
I think there's I mean, that's an interesting thing that you bring up in that, like, critics are usually by artists perceived in that sort of, if you can't be an athlete, be an athletic supporter type of thing. But I do think that there is a point to critique and an educated critic of
Totally.
art in the sense of being able to distill and explain some things, or at least enlighten other people who wouldn't normally be exposed to such things, to that kind of thing. But I think also there is that part of them that's like, why are they thinking for me? I can decide if I like it.
Exactly.
Can you?
Yeah. I think it was for a time back when we didn't push the idea of like you must consume everything. It was like you have to be selective with what you can. So a critic was basically that
The
person in
middleman.
between, right? That would tell you or indicate to you, is this something that I want to invest my time and money into? And now we live in a day and age where it's like, oh, you don't need a critic. You should invest your time and money into everything and explode.
Yeah. Well, also that I think before, when we had more respect as a society for like experts and like, these people know what they're talking about, versus
now there's no trust.
Done my own research, aka
Reddit.
made my own decisions by myself in my bubble.
I mean, I usually make my decisions based on the TikTok influencer who does a dance. So.
Yep.
But that's
how
the
the
critics
dance
these days. Essentially,
the dance
influencers
matter?
are critics.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the platform TikTok, right, was based on people dancing around, and then those people that still dance became influencers with brands and giving opinions and all that stuff.
But I mean, do you have a dance off between the TikTokers, and whoever has the better dance, in your opinion, is the opinion you choose?
I mean, I was just kidding. I don't actually get any advice from anybody on TikTok.
Oh, okay. Well,
sure.
That was a bit. I mean, that was a joke.
We could have
Also, we just want to take a moment to talk about TikTok, the great social
For the
platform
love
you
of
can
God,
get on
Arjuna's
your
a
phone.
corporate branded. Arjuna himself has been sponsored by brands.
Arjuna's
Thanks,
actually
Ravi.
pitching our podcast as a hub for sponsorship.
Do you remember Community, the episode where there was the guy who was like bought by Subway?
Mm-hmm.
And like
changed his name to Subway.
Yeah, it was to like promote like that. That show was very ahead of its time in terms of like,
Because they actually had that huge deal with Subway, so they just incorporated it into the story.
yeah,
Actually,
yeah.
Ravi,
and now it's like that's become the thing where people
Ravi's-
are like,
you haven't answered the question of what you're up to, but I would actually like you to start with peddling a new show you've been watching that you introduced me to this previous week.
Whoa.
who,
A
me?
new show?
Yeah. The
What new
Netflix show.
Oh, Tires.
Tires.
Oh no.
Tires.
What is
It's a show on Netflix, original comedy show. It's a workplace comedy at a tire shop. It's this guy and his cousin. The son, the main guy, takes it or is given it from his dad, and it's just them and getting into really stupid shenanigans, trying to like build the tire shop, tire empire.
It's so stupid
It's,
and simple, but
what's
it's
his
like
name
engrossing
from-
for some reason.
Yeah, it's got
Is it
Shane
Shane
Lyles.
McGillis. Yeah.
Yeah, who I believe like he got his start as a writer.
SNL.
And then he got this show
Tires.
and it's been doing. It's really really good. I believe it's greenlit for like another season or two. Season 2 just wrapped. It's all on Netflix. It's very very fun, very simple to watch.
Yeah. It's just like it's simple and dumb, but like something about it, you're just like
It's that.
yeah.
It's honestly, I think
I
it's
want
the
another
opening
one.
theme song. It's just this like nice workplace comedy. It's very no stakes. It's great.
And it's just like offbeat. It's just like offbeat enough where you're like, this is a nice comfort show to throw on, but not cringy.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm.
I mean,
And,
it
you
is
know,
cringy, but also not cringy at the same time.
Yeah, like we're all blue collar workers. Like you look at this and you're like, oh yeah,
I can relate.
I can relate to this nonsense.
Yes. We all have blue collar jobs.
Yeah.
All of us here.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's summertime. how is
Wait,
everyone
you
planning?
didn't answer what you were up to besides
Oh,
washing
I've
tires.
been. I mean, I think the craziest thing. I just got back from a shoot out in New York. A bunch of new Fantastic Four merch dropped, so I was there shooting TikTokers
Oh
dancing.
my god!
Is this a
Oh
bit?
my god!
No,
Yeah.
this is truth. This is actual truth.
So
Oh,
there is
man.
truth in bits.
There is some truth in it, yes.
And
But
this
no,
pod
it
is
was pretty
brought to you
cool.
by
The event was at the TWA Hotel, which is like a old hotel that's like stuck in like the 60s, 70s. That's like their whole vibe. Part of the TWA airline, which is an actual airline that used to be around. It's off of JFK. Cool place. Like I would love to shoot like a movie there because it's just so liminal space type environment and things.
Ooh, yeah.
So that was fun. And then what else?
Can I ask a
Oh,
question about this hotel?
yeah.
Did Disney ever take it over and make it like the TVA hotel? Because the TVA and Loki was also like 60s.
I mean, I maybe they could. I mean, there's not a big push for TVA stuff right now.
I mean, did they like for when the first two
not that I'm
seasons
aware
came
of.
out?
No, I don't think so.
Missed
Because
opportunity.
Loki got canceled, didn't it?
No, it just finished.
It just ended. It just
Just-
they
they
completed
wanted
their
to do 2
vision.
seasons, and they're like, "This is
Yeah, didn't you
I've
watch
done
it?
Yeah, and they got to do one, and then they had to real quick make up a second one.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's been so
I think I don't
long. I
know.
block it out.
And
That's
then the puppy Harley is calming down finally a little bit. Like
Is
not
she?
as crazy. Oh yeah, she's not as crazy with that puppy energy, so that's nice.
Oh, she's
And
finally grown up.
then we're trying
there
to figure
something
out
wrong?
July 4th plans for her because fireworks plus dog equals unhappy dog.
Plus a bunch of people.
So if you have any tips, please let me know.
Expose your dog to fireworks and explosions constantly,
Xanax.
Constantly.
so that they stop being afraid of them. Show
That's
them
true.
how harmless an explosion can be.
All right, so I'm just gonna go buy a bunch of fireworks and then
Yeah.
every night launch.
And just throw them at her, and as they explode and it doesn't hurt her, then you'll have a happier dog.
There we go.
This
And if
is-
it hurts her,
makes
well,
sense.
then she learns a valuable lesson.
That's also true.
Yeah.
That's
Don't
true.
play with fireworks.
Don't play with fireworks.
Michael's dog training school. Come to me if you want good tips on how to train or abuse your dog.
How to train your
Not really.
dog.
Don't. I did get probably some terrible dog training tips when I was younger. I don't know. The guy who trained me kind of was one of those kind of dicks who would every once in a while, even though I was 16 and he was 300 pounds, would be like, trip me and then put me up against the hood and be like, oh, you're under arrest. And I'd be like, hey, this sucks.
Oh my God.
And then he'd be like, just kidding with you, buddy. And then I'd be like, yeah, fun.
Oh my God. Story did not go where I was expecting.
Yeah, fun.
There's a movie in there
Yeah.
somewhere.
Anyway, it's summertime. How's everyone planning on staying cool?
In your pool, probably.
Yeah.
It's funny you asked this, Robbie, because it's right before we came on here, I saw on the great yahoo.com website on the homepage that there's a heat wave going through the US that's going to cost billions of dollars in damage and infrastructure.
Whoa.
Shenanigans. So
Great.
how do you stay cool in this? Well, simple. You stay inside with the AC on until that quote unquote structural damage cuts off the power in your area, and then you just sit inside in the shade and stew.
I think stewing is the key word there.
Yeah. No, honestly, what I've actually been doing the last few years is trying to not use the AC at all during the day. And so slowly, it took a while, I actually acclimated to the heat so that it doesn't affect me as badly. I only use the AC at night before I go to bed and during sleep. So it knocks me out. But so also I live in Denver. It's very dry. Do you remember New Hampshire?
Mhm.
It wouldn't work in New England because it's humid and that's a different kind of heat. That's a suffocating underwater heat. That it wouldn't work there. But in this dry heat, acclimating to it is much easier, and then you get to a point where it's more pleasant, and it's not as bad. So
I like how you moved all the way to Denver to recreate the LA experience in your apartment.
no, I moved to Denver to get away from the LA experience.
And yet here you are sweating during the day.
Oh,
No,
yeah,
I'm kidding.
well, if you're talking about weather, yeah.
I know. I think it's kind of funny where you started off with tips on like how to limit use of AC, and then you reveal at the end, actually, I keep the AC on for like half the day, but just at night.
Yeah.
In
Just
theory,
when it's
though,
the coolest.
and in theory, though, the electric prices are cheaper at night
Yeah.
during the night. So in theory, that is some good
my power
cost-cutting
power
saving.
bill is like
Yeah.
nothing because I don't run the AC all day for sure.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I live in a brick building that faces the west. It's
Ooh.
like an oven in here after, like, if I forget to like pre-turn on the AC on my way home, like I walk in and you ever get that feeling where it's so hot you can't breathe? You're kind of like, that's kind of what it gets like. So
Oh, no.
I turn it on every once in a while.
Damn.
The sin of comfort as
Sin of comfort. Oh my god.
Has anyone started a thing, like a conspiracy thing, in order to like be green or whatever, push like the green agenda by saying like having the AC on is like killing spirits or something? I don't know.
Spirits.
Somebody come up with a good
is.
conspiracy theory as to why you shouldn't run your AC.
I feel like
so
the
create
opposite.
Yeah.
Isn't there like it's probably not the best way to like, I thought there was something to do with fans in certain cultures where you don't turn the fan on because it'll like suck up your spirit or something. I don't know. I don't want to like, I feel like I have a little more detail, but that's about it. So I don't want to like go vague on anybody specific, but yeah, I think there are places and people who kind of are the opposite of that, what Robbie was saying. So maybe on this hemisphere, that's the case. We expel with air conditioning.
Good old AC.
See you, spirits.
Juna, I don't want to hear how you're saying cool. I want to hear your tips for how not to get sweat stains under the pits. Because I suffer greatly from this problem.
You know, I actually don't. I sweat mostly from my back.
That
I
seems
get the
worse.
sweat stain in the lower back area. Like my shirt, I'll get the sweat stain there. I don't get as much on the pits.
Have you tried sweating out of your back?
Yeah, have you tried that?
Okay.
My recommendation is to stay in the AC of your apartment. No, I think typically. So what I used to do, this is what I used to do in New Hampshire because it was so humid. Is like if I was wearing a collared shirt or something, I'd wear an undershirt, and so the stains would be there, and then it wouldn't be on the actual shirt itself. Because it's hotter here, I don't normally do that. So what I'll do is I will just, suffer. I haven't really figured out how not to sweat.
What about so what I do is I try and wear darker shirts.
The darker shirts make sense, yeah.
They don't work.
Well, like black.
Yeah, my black shirts are all like white here from the pit stains.
Do you sweat differently?
Do you sweat cum?
Aren't your pit stains white-ish yellow, yellowish white?
No, mine usually like dark.
Oh, dark?
You sweat
like
cum?
what is wrong with your sweat? It's
no,
like black? Are you sweating like necrotic
black,
juice?
You could if it's like a gray shirt, like it would be darker here.
Yeah.
You can kind of tell. Is there? I don't.
I mean, it's a little bit darker on the shirts, but like, so anyway, you can get rid of pit stains, and because this is a problem.
Here's
and
a better idea, actually. Why not introduce a new fashion where the under part of the shirt is like a completely different color?
I've
So if
been
it does
trying
get
for years.
darker or whatever, it doesn't look as weird. There you go.
So pit stains are actually caused by antiperspirant and the way that you put it on. antiperspirant uses I forget what, but it actually clogs your pores so you cannot sweat. So if you put it on directly after a shower and then get dressed, you actually cause that reaction to happen from the shower water, and it then gets on your shirt. If you were to put the antiperspirant on the night before you shower and then shower with it on, it will actually perform better and not stain your pits as much. So either don't use antiperspirant or don't put it on directly after a shower. If you want to get rid of pit stains, you mix some baking soda with dish soap and some water with a little bit of vinegar, and you put that around, and then you soak the shirt in that before you wash it, and that'll actually remove the antiperspirant stains. It works. I've done it a lot. It's just inconvenient to do.
Mm.
I'm gonna try that.
Also, remembering to put your antiperspirant on the night before you shower is not easy for me. So I still haven't got that down.
Yeah. I don't use the antiperspirant because I didn't like how it made my pits feel. It just felt weird. So yeah, I just do dark shirts and then don't use antiperspirant to get the discoloration at least. Yeah, there's not a whole lot you can do. Here's the thing. This is the thing you have to remember too. When you live in a hot place, everyone's sweating, and very few people look good with the sweat. So everyone's suffering together. It's a kind of a communal experience, really.
Or I could just wear tank tops.
Oh.
That's true as
Or
well.
you could
And
wear
cover
nothing.
myself in oil, so I
Also
just have
shirtless.
constant glisteningness.
Also, a good thing to remember is that people care way less about you than you think.
That's not true. People care very much about me and are constantly thinking about what I'm up to and what I'm thinking.
Well,
Well, the government does.
perhaps that's true.
No.
But in terms of your sweat, people really don't care that much. So
I like to
I know
imagine
I
there's an
don't.
entire like sweat community that shames people.
they just live in a sauna.
Like there's a subreddit where it's like
They just sweat.
where like sweat stains, and then they post pictures of people in public that they see, and then everyone just harshly judges.
God, that is ridiculous.
Arjuna's the odd on it, so
I am.
Oh, yeah, because he doesn't sweat out his pits.
Just my lower back. Like on Father's Day, we were in Burbank, and we were waiting for Mom and Dad. And we were standing in the shade, and it was like 90 something up there. My lower back was just like, I could just feel the sweat trickling down into my butt crack.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
I hate when that happens.
Swamp bottom.
Yeah,
Ugh.
but yeah, sweat. I mean, yeah, there's not a whole lot.
Have you seen the
worst
ads for the
feeling-
new full body deodorant?
Full
No.
body?
Yeah.
What is
They're
it?
doing ads now where they're like, not just my pits sweat, my whole body sweats. And then they like put on deodorant over their whole body.
Like
I
a
mean,
spray?
obviously it's a thing. I haven't paid that close attention because I've been like, this feels like a scam to get me to buy more deodorant than I need.
It is.
But I probably do need it. Like, it's probably for me.
yeah, big deodorant's like, how do we sell more deodorant? We have to advertise to the whole body.
Well, I did hear that the reason for this is because of with the pandemic and then after, people are actually showering less than they used to. So it's actually becoming a bit of an issue.
No wonder the world
Yeah.
smells like shit.
Mm-hmm.
Smells like
No,
sweat.
that's
I
because
was
the
one.
sewage services were gutted.
What?
Sewage services were gutted.
Where?
No, it's a joke.
Federal.
Oh, I was going to say, that seems like that would really make them go faster.
Hmm.
All right, well, that's going to do it for us here for Was It Good? As always, you can find us on the internet at TikTok at Was It Good Pod, on youtube.com/Was It Good. Learman, you're up next as host to figure out what the hell we're talking about.
Nice. Good
Until-
luck, everybody else.
Till then, good luck and good day.
Good day.
Oh, I froze.
Right at the end.
Perfect timing.
Yeah.